Question 6 in my ionic and materials test is this one. Aluminium sulfate is a substance used for water treatment. It is added to wastewater at a rate of 4.5 grams per litre. First question, what is the formula for aluminium sulfate? Well, formula for ionic compounds, again, this is ionic compound. You need to know the charges. Aluminium is 3 positive, sulfate is SO4 2 negative. So to balance this up, I need to look at having 2 aluminiums and 3 sulfates. So it's Al2 bracket SO4 bracket 3. My next question here is calculate the number of mole of aluminium sulfate used to treat 10 litres of wastewater. Well, 10 litres of wastewater, first of all, I know that's added at 4.5 grams per litre. That's 45 grams of that. So number of moles of Al2 bracket SO4 bracket 3 equals M over MR equals 45 grams divided by whatever the molar mass of this thing is. Now, molar mass of this. Aluminium is 27 times 2. Sulfur is 32.1 times 3. And 16, which is oxygen, that's going to be times by 12. So let's do that here. My trusty calculator that I got from Aldi is 27 plus 27 plus 32.1 plus 32.1 plus 32.1 plus bracket 16 times 12 gives me a massive molar mass of 342.3. That is 342.3. So therefore I've got 45 divided by my answer. That gives me a, what's it called? Number of moles of 0.131 mole of aluminium sulfate is being used. Deduce the amount in mole of sulfate ions. So number of moles of SO4 2 negative equals, I know I've got 3 sulfate ions in all of those. So therefore, my number of moles of sulfate equals 3 times the number of moles of Al2SO4 bracket 3 equals 3 times 0.131. So therefore, I get my number that I had before up, which was 45 divided by 32.3. That was my number before. Times that by 3 gives me 0.394 mole. Next question is the total number of ions. So I'm going to be looking at capital N of sulfate. That equals N times Na. So therefore, it's going to be equal to 0.394 times 6.02 times 10 to the power of 23. That is going to be equal to times 6.02 times 10 to the power of 23. 2.37 times 10 to the power of 23 sulfate ions. Now I've done a spelling mistake. It says sulfur ions, but I clearly meant sulfate ions in that. And that, my friends, is the end of this practice test. 6 questions on materials. Let's do a quick little recap. Most important thing is when you're asked to do something which relates to a specific scenario, go with your knowledge that you have learnt about general substances. So generalized metallic bonding here, generalized metallic properties here, and you should be right. Likewise here, generalized metallic and ionic bonding, and generalized comments about their properties. You will have to do some calculations in here. Clearly you can see that, but that's generally what we're going to be doing for our test on materials.